Hello and welcome. You're here with me, Chatty Tumbler. We are in our Sudanese MiG29. Let me just take off all the labels. I'm Colt 91. That's Colt 41. He's getting airborne. It is the 15th of April in 2023. Almost got the year there. And there is civil war in the heart of Khartoum. We don't have Africa, so I'm using Homs instead. Khartoum has an airfield about here, and the military airbase is about 10 kilometers out. Well, this airbase is about 10 kilometers out, and there is civil war across the city. And on day one of the war, we're now on day 4 or 5, I think, for real. On day one of the war, there was some video that came out of an MiG29 SE that was flying low over the city on a reconnaissance mission, and then it did an attack on a compound in the northwest of the city. And this mission recreates that as best that we can with the DCS limitations. So we've got all these points across the city. There are 12 in all, I think. I need to photograph 8 to trigger the next bit of the mission. What I do is get airborne. We'll head to waypoint 1 and we'll photograph as much as we can. When that's done, Colt 41, who's already in the air, is going to attack something on the east, and then he's going to go off into the hold. And when I'm done with my mission, he will fly in. He'll try and look for the enemy base, which is somewhere in the northwest of the city, and he'll light it with some green flares. We can attack that quickly, and then we'll get back to base before we're out of fuel. All of these locations are roughly based on the real life locations around the city of Khartoum. We have a Sober military base down here. Gets captured quite early on by the defense forces, I guess, rather than the rebels. The rebels are the rapid support force, who are like a breakaway group from the main army. But this is in government hands at the moment, and the rebels pretty much control most of the northwest. So let's get this thing started up, which is those two there. You may notice my cockpit's in English. If yours isn't, there is a mod you can download on DCS that puts all of the text in English, which makes things much, much easier. So we're just starting up. There is an option to listen to a actual BBC radio broadcast. It goes on for about 1.5 minutes, but we should be able to get airborne and start before that. If you're playing, feel free to listen to that. That's from the BBC World News. A very short clip. Just get this thing started. I just want to check something while we are starting up. Those 2 buttons do anything. What about this one? Air brake. Okay, so that does work. Okay. I've flown this a few times, and landing in this thing is a real pain because it just won't slow down. I was just wondering if there's a problem with my air brakes. One of the other things you'll see me do is right shift in H, which brings up my sunscreen, because we are going to take off into the sun. The actual footage of the MiG29 is kind of lunchtime, but I've put it to a little bit later in the day. And this airbase is a combination of the military airbase that's like 10 kilometers south of the city, and the civilian airbase is right in the center. So we've got some IL-76s parked up, and there. Let me turn off this visor. And there, and that's kind of, and the military planes are all scattered around the place. I wonder if I've actually started my aircraft. And the way you can tell is, if you look at the front of the cockpit, if those 2 cowlings are open, then your aircraft is not started. If they close, your aircraft has started. So I'm not sure why. There we go. Obviously didn't push that second button. So you'll see on here, it's telling me my right engine's starting up. And if we look outside, that right side will close like a winking eye when we're ready. You can see it spinning. And in the cockpit.
4, passing waypoint 1 at 3,500.
That's almost ready. There you go, that closes. And then we'll see in a few seconds, it should say left-hand engine starting up. Any second now. There we go, so that's the left hand starting up. When that one is shut and when that light has gone off, we're good to go. We may as well bring up the navigation while we're here. So we're going to go to waypoint 1, and what we can do is, it's telling me I need to go onto a heading of about 03, actually it says on the top right there 036, and it's 21 kilometers away. And what I'm interested in is the green arrow rather than the white arrow. If I change waypoints, you'll see they're different. So If I wanted to go direct to waypoint 2, I would follow the green arrow. If I was trying to follow the proper route from waypoint 1 to waypoint 2, I would then have to focus on the white arrow and try and get the white and the green in the same place. I'll probably do a video about navigating in the Flaming Cliffs aircraft, because it's, once you understand it, it's good fun, but it can be quite confusing to start with. But the main thing is, look at the green arrow. We're going to head on 036 after departure. Okay, so that green light's gone off, so we should have both cowlings shut. Oh, and there's Cop 41, so we're good to go. Let's close the cockpit. Say goodbye to the chaps.
Colt
Bye.
4, passing waypoint 2 at 3,500. Clear to taxi to Colt 9-1, request takeoff.
Let's get airborne. May as well put this sunscreen up because we are going to take off into the sun. Let's put some flaps in and go for it.
Colt 9-1, unable to clear for takeoff. Colt 9-1, you are cleared for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QFE 718.49.
Okay. Let's get this thing established in a climb. Take off that afterburner, which is those two lights there. Think. There we go. And we can see on the fuel gauge here. Sorry, that's not the fuel gauge. That's something different. And we're heading out towards the city. So we have 12 targets available, 8 of them we need to photograph. There are some rules for the pretend camera pod that we've got on this, that we need to be below 1,000 meters above ground level. We need to, it doesn't matter about our speed or pitch, but our bank angle, so this angle, needs to be within 10 degrees, or plus or minus 10 degrees. So what we'll do is, let's take this one out, it's all on its own first.
Colt 4, on station at Pulse 100 for 45 at 3,500.
We'll get this one. Let's do some pitch trim. See that moving to tell me that it's working. Okay. Right, the city is in turmoil. There's a lot of fighting going on at the moment. And we need to fly as straight and level over these smoke targets as we can. And what we'll see on the map is, if you look, I'm heading towards this one here. I'll get a marker when I've actually taken the photograph, and we'll also get a audio and visual cue, which we'll see in a second. I'll probably take that big burning one over there next. So straight and level, below 1,000 meters. Okay, that's the military camp. I'm not sure we can get straight and level in time. But we can try. And I'll show you the F10 map in a second, how that's updated, so we can keep track of stuff. Should be very limited ground fire over these parts of the city. Okay, so that's 2. And if I show you the map, we now, we've got little markers that say that we photographed them. So let's go out and come back in again, and that way later on, if I'm like, oh, I've got 7 targets and I can't work out which one I need to take, I'll come back. The danger side of the city is up this way, this industrial area in the northwest. That is controlled by the RSF, and there will be a significant ground-to-air threat. Certainly, if we flew over it now, it would be a problem. But here we go, we've got a line of 3 smokes there, that 3. And so we get 3 in a row. Actually, we've got this one here first as well, so let's go for these 2. Oh, there's actually fighting going on this one, so we'll get some live action footage. Okay, that's some serious fighting going on down there.
Pull up. Pull up.
Okay, get that 10-degree angle.
Pull up. Pull up.
Okay, well, that's the prison, so there's an enemy general who's being held in there. So they're trying to break him out. I'm not going to get that big smoke in time, I don't think, so we'll go for this one instead. Defense Ministry. These targets are all based on actual areas that were engaged or have been destroyed as part of the fighting. So that's that one. We can probably do the train station. Can we get around there in time?
Colt 4, defending
So we've done 5 targets. We need 3 more. Yeah, we're not going to get the train station with that angle. So let's come around again. Try and stay below these clouds, which are convenient and about are conveniently at about 1,000 meters. So we know what our height is. We can see the DCS-ness of everything rendering in there, all those very dark dots you saw as we're flying over. Let's do the train station, which is also under attack. Let's get that one. And I'm going to turn left because I don't want to go right over that part of the city.
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
There's the train. Shagara. I'll turn left to keep out of danger. Right, what have we got left to photograph? We don't need many more. Have a quick look on the F10 map. So kind of, if we aim for the middle, then there's still 3 or 4 in there. So let's do that. So the city is about there. That's kind of the centre. That train station is in trouble. I think that's... Yeah, if we go to the left of that one. Let's take this one. Get that wing angle.
Pull up.
Ooh, the rudder is super sensitive on this.
Pull up. Pull up. Pull up.
Okay. A lot of hospitals getting knocked out in the last few days. Seems to be a prime target. Oh, and there's the Ministry of Engineering. So we're good. So that's the photo mission complete. Colt 4-1 is now pushing from his target, from his hold. So he's located the RSF forces, and he's going to mark the compound by dropping 2 green flares. One on either side, and once we do that, once we see those, we are cleared into attack. So this can take a minute or 2. So what I'm doing is I'm going to cut the power even more and try and save as much fuel as I can. These MiG29s do not do well at low level with their fuel consumption, particularly as I haven't got a external fuel tank or anything. I've pretended that the camera pod is in there instead. If you see the DCS-ness, we can actually see the compound there. It's that very dark area that's rendering in when we see it from afar, and if we go over a cloud, you should see it even more obviously. Hang on, let's get it on the edge of this cloud here. It's kind of sticking out. There you go, it's rendering through the cloud. So that's the compound that we're going for. But we'll not go for it until Colt 4-1 does his thing, or until we get fed up waiting for him to do his thing, because the AI is not always great on this.
Colt 4, passing waypoint 4.
Okay, so he's passing waypoint 4, that's a good sign. He's still doing his things. Is that him down there? Yep, there he is. He's running in. So hopefully not going to get shot to pieces. The compound's in there somewhere.
Colt 4, defending triple
Oh no,
A at
there's a bit too much of a problem. So we can see the compound firing. It's definitely there. But what I'll do is I will wait and see if he drops the flares. He's visual of the target, dropping the green smoke now. Oh, there you go. He got the flares off. So there's the smoke on either side of the compound. Let's go and get it. So we're in air ground mode. We've only got 2 rockets because we had to scramble relatively quickly. That's why we haven't got all the fuel and all the payload. We'll put some rockets down in here and then we will get out. And we've seen the AA firing, so we know it's quite dangerous. Let's just wait for LA, which is Launch Authority. It's in that kind of area. One there, one there. And let's get out of here.
Passing waypoint 5 at 3,500.
Okay, we're getting some good hits. Oh, we only hit the edge of the compound. That was not the best rockets ever in the world. I'm very surprised. Okay, well, that's that mission. Let's take it home. Okay, so we got some decent-ish hits. We'll take that. And what we can do is I'm going to set it to landing mode. And that will take us to pretty much finals. And what I do need to do is really bleed off the speed. We're only 15 kilometers from home, so it's not even 15 miles, it's 15 kilometers. So we've really got to start slowing down now. I'll do is we're just following this bubble. If you imagine that's like a flexible tube in the sky that we should be flying through. So really I should have my cursor on the middle of my thing in here and be flying down there, and that should put me in the perfect position for finals. But I find it makes it quite a steep attack, or final bit.
Colt 4, passing waypoint.
So it should snap off to the right shortly, and the airfield is off there somewhere. In fact, there's the airfield over there. So we'll just slowly follow that tube round. Try not to lose too much speed. And
gear down.
okay,
Gear down.
just put the gear down. Don't want to lose too much speed.
Fuel 1500. Fuel 1500.
Okay, gears down, flaps down, power's down. We'll do a bit of a turn to take off the last bit of speed. And we'll try and land this, not like an F-16, which is what I keep trying to do, and it ends up bouncing down the runway. I'm going to try and put it kind of flat on all three wheels, because every time I do a really steep angle, it just bounces all over the shop. Which is not ideal. So nice and lazy. Let's let the nose come down.
Colt 4, passing waypoint 7 at 5,000.
So again, I'm trying not to raise the nose too much. Oh, jab. Bandit. Okay, I think I probably popped a tyre, but I might have got away with that. Definitely a bit too quick on that one. I should have put the air brakes down and come in pretty much in the stall. Well, we're not at an angle, so I think we've mostly come down in one piece. I'm going to vacate to the right here, and we'll take it back to the airfield. And what we need to do is, for the scoring wise, if we park back where we started, we get an extra 10 bonus points. And the scoring for this mission is you get 80 points if you... Yeah, taxing now. If you do the photo reconnaissance mission properly and get 8 targets, you'll get 80 points. If you then hit the compound, and you don't even have to get many casualties, you just need to hit the compound, you'll get an extra 10 points, and then you will get the final 10 points for recovering back to base out of a possible 100. So that's the results score. We'll see that in a second, rather than the... I think I've damaged my wheels. Can't turn right. So I'm going to get stuck in the mud here. Let me just power up. We'll have a look on the outside in a minute and see what I've actually done to myself.
Colt 4, passing waypoint 8 at 5,000.
Okay, seems to be back under control again. Let's get these flaps up. And it looks like the airfield's been attacked while we were away. I can see a burning IL-76. And we're seeing from the photos that are coming out, well, actually this morning came out from Maxar, showing all of the airfields in Sudan, and pretty much every one has been hit. And there are burning civilian and military airplanes everywhere. So definitely a case for a survival scramble type mission. Right, this plane is quite wobbly. What have I done? Oh, I burst. There you go. So I burst lots of tyres. I didn't just burst one tyre. The reason wasn't at an angle is because they were all popped. Oh well. Not the way to land a MiG29. And frustratingly, on the very first recording I did, or playthrough of this thing, I did an absolutely perfect one. But you know, if it's not on video, then it doesn't count. It never happened. Right, I'll just speed this up a little bit, and we'll get to the dispersal. Which is around the corner a bit. And this airfield is a hybrid of, we're using as a hybrid of the civilian airfields and the main military airfield. And this squadron, the MiG29 squadrons would be 2 squadron and 10 squadron, and they use the 29 SE mainly. They've also got, it's all Russian equipment, basically Russian equipment versus Russian equipment. So SU-25s, MiG-23s, that kind of thing. Lots of helicopters, lots of Hinds and Mi-8s. So we've got other than the map, we've got quite a lot of assets for mission design for this scenario, for this civil war. And Syria is quite Africa-y. So there's potential. Right, I started by that fuel bowser, so I'm going to park it by the fuel bowser. Those guys have literally been stood there talking about nothing for whatever it is, 22 minutes. Right, is this thing going to turn? This will be interesting. Yeah, I mean, this is exactly how I found this, guys. I don't know why they're looking so upset. If we can get it inside that box or close to that box, I should get the 10 points for parking it where I found it. Okay, what do you think, guys? Is that okay? We're going to count that? Yes, we are. We've returned to base. Excellent. So let me just hit my power down button. There we go, and I can take my foot off the brake. So we can have a look at the score. It's going to take a couple of seconds because there's a lot of fighting going on. The AI have all been battling on. So we've got a result out of 100, which means we did a perfect mission. And then if you wanted to have like a sub-secondary score, I've done this. I managed to get like 105 with all the ground kills with the 2 rockets. A score of about 50 is pretty average, and 14 I did really badly on with those rocket hits. I don't know why they dropped quite so much as they did. Oh, and there's Colt 4-1 coming into land in the background there. And what we can do is we can look at the initiator. I was Colt 9-1. We can bring that up, and we can look at kill, I guess, and see what we hit. So we killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 casualties. You can get a whole page full of this, or 2 pages full. It's very unrealistic from what we're seeing from the actual casualty rates that are happening. If you see 10 in here, 10 kills as far as DCS is concerned, I would say that maybe that's 10 injured and 1 kill. It would be pretty representative of what's going on actually on the ground right now. But that's the mission. We made it back. We're doing our bit for Goodyear there and need to get some more tyres ordered. That's the MiG29 mission over Sudan with the Sudanese skin here that I've downloaded. I'll put a link for that and when the mission is available. This mission also uses 2 other mods as well. You may have seen bits and pieces of those as we flew over. There's a SAM assets mod and a kind of terrorist insurgency mod that lets us have all the Toyotas and things. But that was the mission. If you have any comments or questions, please put down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Until then, happy hunting everybody and stay safe.